Primes and their distribution. In this session, we discuss prime numbers followed by fundamental theorem of arithmetics. Familiarizes and solve problems based on sieve of Eratosthenes. Definition: an integer p greater than 1 is called a prime number or simply a prime if its only positive divisors are 1 and p. An integer greater than 1 that is not a prime is termed composite. Example 1. The first 6 primes are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and 13. Note: suppose a is a positive integer and p is a prime number. If p divides a, then GCD of pa is equal to p. If p does not divide a, then GCD of pa is equal to 1. Euclid's lemma: if a divides bc with GCD of ab is equal to 1, then a divides c. Theorem 1. If p is a prime and p divides ab, then p divides a or p divides b. Proof: if p divides a, there is nothing to prove. So, let us assume that p does not divide a. Then we have to show that p divides b, because the only positive divisors of p are 1 and p itself. This implies that GCD of pa is equal to 1. That is, we have now p divides ab and GCD of pa is equal to 1. This, using Euclid's lemma, implies p divides b. Corollary 1. If p is a prime and p divides a1, a2, etc. an, then p divides ak for some k, where 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n. Proof: we proceed by induction on n, the number of factors. When n is equal to 1, the stated conclusion obviously holds, whereas when n is equal to 2, the result is the content of theorem 1. Suppose as the induction hypothesis that n greater than 2 and that whenever p divides a product of less than n factors, it divides at least one of the factors. Now, let p divides a1, a2, etc. an. From theorem 1, either p divides an or p divides a1, a2, etc. an minus 1. If p divides an, then we are through. As regards the case where p divides a1, a2, etc. an minus 1, the induction hypothesis ensures that p divides ak for some choice of k with 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n minus 1. In any event, p divides one of the integers a1, a2, etc. an. Corollary 2. If p, q1, q2, etc. qn are all primes and p divides q1 into q2 into q3, etc. into qn, then p is equal to qk for some k, where 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n. Proof: we know that p divides qk for some k with 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to n. Being a prime, qk is not divisible by any positive integer other than 1 or qk itself. Because p greater than 1, we are forced to conclude that p is equal to qk. Well ordering property of n. Every non-empty subset of n has a least element. Theorem 2. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Every positive integer n greater than 1 can be expressed as a product of primes. This representation is unique apart from the order in which the factors occur. Proof: either n is a prime or it is composite. If n is a prime, there is nothing more to prove. If n is composite, then there exists an integer d satisfying d divides n and 1 less than d less than n. Among all such integers d, choose p1 to be the smallest. This is possible by the well ordering principle. Then p1 must be a prime number, otherwise it is 2 would have a divisor q with 1 less than q less than p1, but then q divides p1 and p1 divides n imply that q divides n, which contradicts the choice of p1 as the smallest positive divisor not equal to 1 of n. We therefore may write n is equal to p1 n1, where p1 is prime and 1 less than n1 less than n. if n1 happens to be a prime, then we have our representation. In the contrary case, the argument is repeated to produce a second prime number p2 such that n1 is equal to n2 p2, that is n is equal to p1 p2 n2, 1 less than n2 less than n1. If n2 is a prime, then it is not necessary to go further. Otherwise, write n2 is equal to n3 p3 with p3 a prime. N is equal to p1 p2 p3 n3, 1 less than n3 less than n2. The decreasing sequence n greater than n1 greater than n2 greater than etc. greater than 1 cannot continue indefinitely, so that after a finite number of steps nk minus 1 is a prime. Call it pk. This leads to the prime factorization n is equal to p1 p2 etc. pk. To prove the uniqueness of the prime factorization, let us suppose that the integer n can be represented as a product of primes in two ways. Say n is equal to p1, p2, p3 etc. pr is equal to q1, q2 etc. qs are less than or equal to s, where the pi and qj are all primes written in increasing magnitude, so that p1 less than or equal to p2 less than or equal to etc. less than or equal to pr and q1 less than or equal to q2 less than or equal to etc. less than or equal to qs, because p1 divides q1, q2 etc. qs. Corollary 2 of theorem 1 tells us that p1 is equal to qk for some k, but then p1 greater than or equal to q1. Similar reasoning gives q1 greater than or is equal to p1. Combining this, we have p1 is equal to q1. We may cancel this common factor and obtain p2, p3 etc. pr is equal to q2, q3 etc. qs. Now repeat the process to get p2 is equal to q2 and in turn p3, p4 etc. pr is equal to q3, q4 etc. qs. Continue in this fashion. If the inequality r less than s were to hold, we would eventually arrive at 1 is equal to qr plus 1, qr plus 2 etc. qs, which is not possible because each qj greater than 1. Hence, r is equal to s and p1 is equal to q1 and p2 is equal to q2 etc. pr is equal to qr, making the two factorization of n identical. Of course, several of the primes that appear in the factorization of a given positive integer may be repeated, as in the case with 360 is equal to 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 5. By collecting like primes and replacing them by a single factor, we can rephrase theorem 2 as below. Corollary 3. Any positive integer n greater than 1 can be written uniquely in a canonical form. N is equal to p1 raised to k1, p2 raised to k2 etc. pr raised to kr, where for I is equal to 1, 2, 3 etc. r, each ki is a positive integer and each pi is a prime with p1 less than p2 less than etc. less than pr. Definition: an even integer is an e prime if it is not the product of two even integers. Example: 2, 6, 10 and 14 are e primes. 4, 8, 12 and 16 are not e primes. The integer 60 can be factored into e primes in two distinct ways, namely 60 is equal to 2 into 30 is equal to 6 into 10. Theorem 3. Pythagoras. The number root 2 is irrational. Proof. Suppose to the contrary that root 2 is a rational number, then root 2 can be written as root 2 is equal to a by b, where a and b are both integers with the GCD ab is equal to 1. Squaring, we get a square is equal to 2b square, that is a square is equal to 2 into b into b. Hence, by the definition of divisors, we have b divides a square. If b greater than 1, then the fundamental theorem of arithmetic guarantees the existence of a prime p such that p divides b. Then it follows that p divides a square, that is p divides a into a. Hence, by theorem 1, it follows that p divides a. Now, p divides b and p divides a implies GCD of ab greater than or equal to p. We therefore arrive at contradiction unless b is equal to 1. But if b is equal to 1 happens, then a square is equal to 2, which is impossible as no integer can be multiplied by itself to give 2. Our supposition that root 2 is a rational number is wrong, and so root 2 is irrational. A later proof. There is an alternate proof of the above theorem. If root 2 is equal to a by b with GCD of ab is equal to 1, there must exist integers r and s satisfying ar plus bs is equal to 1. As a result, root 2 is equal to root 2 into ar plus bs is equal to root 2a into r plus root 2b into s is equal to 2br plus as. This representation of root 2 leads us to conclude that root 2 is an integer, which is a contradiction. Hence, root 2 is irrational. Note: given a particular integer, in order to determine whether it is prime or composite, the most obvious approach consists of successively dividing the integer in question by each of the numbers preceding it. If none of them except one serves as a divisor, then the integer must be prime. Property of composite numbers. If an integer a greater than 1 is composite, then it may be written as a is equal to bc, where 1 less than b less than a and 1 less than c less than a. In the above property, assuming also that b less than or equal to c, we get b square less than or equal to bc equal to a, and so b less than or equal to root a. Because b greater than 1, fundamental theorem of arithmetic ensures that b has a least one prime factor p, then p less than or equal to b less than or equal to root a. Furthermore, because p divides b and b divides a, it follows that p divides a. Result: a composite number a will always possess a prime divisor p satisfying p less than or equal to root a. By means of the result, in testing the primality of a specific integer a greater than 1, it therefore suffices to divide a by those primes not exceeding root a, presuming of course the availability of list of primes up to root a. Example 3. Show that 509 is a prime. Solution. Take a is equal to 509 as 22 less than root 509 less than 23, we need only try out the primes that are not larger than 22 as possible divisors, namely the primes 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. Dividing 509 by each of these, in turn, we find that none serves as a divisor of 509. The conclusion is that 509 must be a prime number. Example: find the canonical form of 2093. Solution: take a is equal to 2093, 45 less than root 2093 less than 46, because it is enough to examine the primes 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43. By trial, the first of these to divide 2093 is 7, and 2093 is equal to 7 into 299. As regards the integer 299, the 7 primes that are less than 18, note that 17 less than root 299 less than 18 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17. The first prime divisor of 299 is 13, and carrying out the required division, we obtain 299 is equal to 13 into 23, but 23 is itself a prime, whence 2093 has exactly 3 prime factors 7, 13 and 23. That is, 2093 is equal to 7 into 13 into 23. The sieve of Eratosthenes. Sieve of Eratosthenes is a technique for finding all primes below a given integer n is based on the following fact. If an integer a greater than 1 is not divisible by any prime p less than or equal to root a, then a is a prime. The method of sieve of Eratosthenes is as follows. Write down the integers from 2 to n in their natural order and then systematically eliminate all the composite numbers by striking out all multiples 2p, 3p, 4p, etc. of all primes p less than or equal to root n. Never eliminate p. The integers that are left of the list, those that do not fall through the sieve, are primes. Example, using sieve of Eratosthenes, find all primes not exceeding 100. Solution. Consider a sequence of consecutive integers 2, 3, 4, etc. 100. We have to consider all multiples of p where p is a prime and p less than or equal to root 100. The primes less than root 100 is equal to 10 are 2, 3, 5 and 7. Taking the first prime 2, we begin by crossing out all even integers from our listing except 2 itself. Table 1. The multiples of 2 are crossed out from table 1. Table 2. Table 2 below shows that the multiples of 3 are also crossed out from table 1. The first of the remaining integers is 3, which must be a prime. We keep 3 but strike all higher multiples of 3 so that 9, 15, 21, etc. are now removed. The even multiples of 3 having been removed in the previous step. This is given in table 2. The smallest integer after 3 that has not yet been deleted is 5. It is not divisible by either 2 or 3. Otherwise, it would have been crossed out. Hence, it is also a prime. All proper multiples of 5 being composite numbers, we next remove 10, 15, 20, etc. Some of these are of course already crossed out. While retaining 5 itself, we obtain table 3. Table 3. Table 3 below shows the multiples of 5 are also crossed out from table 2. The first surviving integer 7 is a prime, for it is not divisible by 2, 3 or 5, the only primes that precede it. After eliminating the proper multiples of 7, see table 4, the largest prime less than root 100 is equal to 10, all composite integers. In the sequence 2, 3, 4, etc. 100 have fallen through the sieve. The positive integers that remain are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61, 67, 71, 73, 79, 83, 89, 97 are all of the primes less than 100. Table 4. The multiples of 7 are also crossed out from table 3 gives the below table 4. Theorem 4, Euclid. There are infinite number of primes. Proof. The proof is by contradiction. Let P1 is equal to 2, P2 is equal to 3, P3 is equal to 5, P4 is equal to 7, etc. be the primes in ascending order, and suppose that there is a last prime called Pn. Now consider the positive integer P is equal to P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn plus 1. Because P greater than 1, we may put the fundamental theorem of arithmetic to conclude that P is divisible by some prime P. But P1, P2, etc. Pn are the only prime numbers, so that P must be equal to 1 of P1, P2, etc. Pn. Combining the divisibility relation, P divides P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn. With P divides P, we arrive at P divides P minus P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn, or equivalently P divides 1. The only positive divisor of the integer 1 is 1 itself, and because P greater than 1, a contradiction arises. Thus, no finite list of primes is complete. Hence, the number of primes is infinite. Definition. For a prime number P, define P hash may be read P hash to be the product of all primes that are less than or equal to P. Numbers of the form P hash plus 1 is called Euclidean numbers. It is interesting to note that in forming these integers, the first 5, namely 2 hash plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, 3 hash plus 1 is equal to 2 into 3 plus 1 is equal to 7. 5 hash plus 1 is equal to 2 into 3 into 5 plus 1 is equal to 31. 7 hash plus 1 is equal to 2 into 3 into 5 into 7 plus 1 is equal to 221. 11 hash plus 1 is equal to 2 into 3 into 5 into 7 into 11 plus 1 is equal to 2311 are all prime numbers. However, 13 hash plus 1 is equal to 59 into 509. 17 hash plus 1 is equal to 19 into 97 into 277. 19 hash plus 1 is equal to 347 into 27,953 are not prime. Note, a question whose answer is not known is whether there are infinitely many primes P for which P hash plus 1 is also prime. For that matter, are there infinitely many composite P hash plus 1? At present, 19 primes of the form P hash plus 1 have been identified. These correspond to the value P is equal to 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 31, 379, 1019, 1021, 2657, 3229, 4547, 4787, 11549, 13,649, 18,523, 23,801, 24,029, 42,209. The largest of this, a number consisting of 18,241 digits, was discovered in 2000. The integer P hash plus 1 is composite for all other P less than or equal to 1,20,000. Size estimate for Pn. Let Pn denote the nth of the prime numbers in their natural order. By a slight modification of proof of Euclid's theorem, a size estimate for Pn is given by Pn less than or equal to P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn minus 1 n greater than or equal to 3, equation number 1. For instance, when n is equal to 5, equation 1 gives 11 is equal to P5 less than or equal to 2 into 3 into 5 into 7 minus 1 is equal to 209. The above estimate is rather extravagant, and a sharpener limitation on the size of Pn is given by Bohn's inequality, which states that Pn square less than P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn minus 1 n greater than or equal to 5, equation number 2. This inequality yields P5 square less than 2 into 3 into 5 into 7 is equal to 210, or P5 less than or equal to 14. A somewhat better size estimate for P5 comes from the inequality P2n less than or equal to P2 into P3 into etc. into Pn minus 2 n greater than or equal to 3, equation number 3. Here P5 less than P6 less than or equal to P2 into P3 minus 2 is equal to 3 into 5 minus 2 is equal to 13. Note, to approximate the size of Pn from the formula 1 to 3, it is necessary to know the values of P1, P2, etc. Pn minus 1. Theorem 5. If Pn is the nth prime number, then Pn less than or equal to 2 raised to n minus 1. Proof. We use mathematical induction on n. The asserted inequality is clearly true when n is equal to 1. As the hypothesis of the induction, we assume that n greater than 1 and that the result holds for all integers up to n. Then Pn plus 1 less than or equal to P1 into P2 into etc. into Pn plus 1 less than or equal to 2 into 2 raised to 2 etc. up to 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 raised to 1 plus 2 square plus etc. plus 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 1. Recalling the identity, finite sum of geometric series with common ratio 2. 1 plus 2 square plus etc. plus 2 raised to n minus 1 is equal to 2 raised to n minus 1. We obtain Pn plus 1 less than or equal to 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 1. However, 1 less than or equal to 2 raised to n minus 1 for all n. Hence, Pn plus 1 less than or equal to 2 raised to 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 2 raised to 2 raised to n minus 1 is equal to 2 into 2 raised to 2 raised to n minus 1 is equal to 2 raised to 2 raised to n. Corollary 4. For n greater than or equal to 1, there are at least n plus 1 primes less than 2 raised to 2 raised to n. Proof. From theorem 5, we know that P1, P2, etc. Pn plus 1 are all less than 2 raised to 2 raised to n. Hence, there are at least n plus 1 primes less than 2 raised to 2 raised to n. Definition. A repunit is an integer written in decimal notation as a string of ones such as 11, 111 or 1111. Note, each repunit must have the form 10 raised to n minus 1 by 9. We use the symbol Rn to denote the repunit consisting of n consecutive ones. Repunit primes. So far only R2, R19, R23, R317, R1031, R49081 and R86453 have been identified as primes, and they are the only possible repunit primes Rn for n less than or equal to 45,000. Note that for a repunit Rn to be prime, the subscript n must be a prime. However, this is not a sufficient condition as R5 is equal to 1111 is equal to 41 into 271 and R5 is equal to 11,11,111 is equal to 239 into 4,649 are not primes, though 5 and 7 are primes. Before moving to the next session, try to answer these questions. First, prove that the only prime of the form n cube minus 1 is 75. Second, find all prime numbers that divide 50 factorial. Third, prove that if n greater than 2, then there exists a prime p satisfying n less than p less than n factorial. Fourth, establish the result for n greater than or equal to 2, nth root of n is irrational. Books for your references are David M. Burton, Elementary Number Theory, K. Ireland and M. Rosen, A Classical Introduction to Modern Number Theory, G. A. Johns and J. M. Johns, Elementary Number Theory, Springer, W. Sierpinski, Elementary Theory of Numbers, North Holland, K. Rosen and M. Rosen, A Classical Introduction to Modern Number Theory, Springer Verlag, I. Niven, S. H. Zuckerman and L. H. Montgomery, An Introduction to the Theory of Numbers. Hope you enjoyed this session. See you next time. Till then, take care.